Hey guys. So a lot of the posts that I've been doing have got a lot of engagement, and I think the engagement at the moment that's really important is a lot of people are working from home or remotely at the moment, and what I'm hearing is a lot of people are battling to stay motivated and to really feel like they're getting what they need to do done. Something I wanted to share was just a very simple system that I use for task triaging. And this is, I did a post on morning routines the other day that a lot of people have engaged with me on. And this is basically what follows my morning routine. So I do the routine in the morning, and once that's finished and I actually sit down and connect my devices to the world, this is how I start my day basically. And it's task triage. There's a really great tool. It's very, very simple, called the Eisenhower Matrix. And that's what inspired me to start using this system. And it's important to note that this evolves all the time as well. So I never stop improving how I do this. So this is Trello. If you're not familiar with it, it's a free tool, super, super valuable tool for simple kind of, I guess, productivity things. This board is called Getting Shit Done. So this is like just how I get shit done. And I'll walk you through how it works. So as I go throughout my day, I'm populating all the things I need to get done. So this is my to-do list. So, it's this thing, and it's don't forget this thing, and oh, it's this thing that I've really been procrastinating, and this is the thing that I really want to do, and, this kind of thing is, it's sort of important, but not really, and then it's, this thing, I might have time one day. You know how it goes. I'm sure this is resonating with a lot of you. So I sit down in the morning after my routine. My head is clear. I'm ready for the day. And I don't just want to get into a frenetic, crazy, getting 1,000 things done at the same time. So this is how I do it. I go through my to-do list that I've populated through the day, and I might add some things onto that. And using the Eisenhower Matrix, I triage these things. So there's 4 columns here. There's urgent and important, and I do that, right? So I might say, can't wait to get stuck into this thing, and I decide that that's urgent and important. Then I might say, I really don't want to get into this thing, but I really need to. So I start populating these things. Then I have a look at whatever else might be here. Let's have a look. What else is important? This thing's really lame, but I know I need to get it done. And this thing I really want to do, and it's pretty urgent. Okay. Then for argument's sake, I might say, okay, this thing is kind of important, so I'll put it into the next segment of the Eisenhower Matrix, which is, it's important, but it's not urgent. And really what this is about is then I know that I need to schedule it. And a side note is that this is really where I want to spend most of my time. I want to spend most of my time on the things that are very important, that add value, but that are not urgent. So I'm not living in a state of panic all the time. And I'm spending the majority of my time, ideally, in this sector so that I can do the things that are very important. They're help with longer term strategic. These are the things usually that if I get them done, the rest of the things that I do are a bit easier. So you really want to think about that. Then the next quadrant is not important, but it is urgent. And this is really what you want to be delegating to people that can do things. So it's menial tasks, it's things that I don't necessarily want to spend my time on, that don't yield the most results for my time, but they need to get done. So not important, but they are urgent. And then I'll try and delegate these things to people within my organization that are better suited to do these things than me, and that will optimize the greater machine, let's call it. So here I might look at things and I say, cool, someone has asked me to do this thing, but I just don't care about it. No. This thing is kind of important, but not really. I'll put that thing in there. I might say that this thing that I've been putting off for too long, I look at it and I might say, actually, you know what? That's not that important, but it needs to get done. So I'll stick that in there. And this other thing over here, I might decide as well that I don't actually have to do this. It's not that important, but it does need to get done, and so on. The last way that I'll triage my cards is not important, nor is it urgent. Now, this is really interesting because when I started doing this process, I thought everything on my to-do list was super important. Some of it wasn't urgent, but I thought it was all really important. But that's actually just not true. I had a massively liberating kind of realization when I started doing this process that a lot of the stuff that I put down on my to-do list just doesn't actually matter, and it really isn't important, and it's not urgent. So there might be things that are, this thing is here purely because it's based on fear of missing out and it has no real value. So I'll put it in there. And here I feel, bound because somebody has asked me to do something, but I just don't care about it. It has no value and it's not going to let them down either. So I'll put that in there as well. Another thing here is that, like, when I have time one day, I might do this thing, but whatever, not important, not urgent. I'll put it in here and I'll literally kill it. So I'll go, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. And it's a massively liberating thing when you're taking your to-do list and you realize that there's a whole bunch of shit on there that's weighing you down and taking away energy, but it's just not important and it's not urgent. So just kill it. So you can see out of those cards, I've probably reduced the amount of things that I need to do by, 10%, 20%. And then I'll get stuck into my day. So I see I've still got a couple of things here. So I might say, okay, this thing's actually really urgent. I need to do it. This thing is not so urgent, but it is important. I should schedule it in. And the same thing here. Then I'll get stuck into my day. And I'll actually begin my day by saying, okay, let me start with these things. Urgent and important. I need to do these things now because they are urgent and they are important. And on a side note, what I'll do is I'll order these in reverse order in terms of what I enjoy. So I'll always start with the thing that I enjoy the least. We call that eating some frogs first. And it's an amazing thing what it does for you, because if you start with the thing that you enjoy the least and get that done, you really feel like you've accomplished something. And as you move that across into the done column, you get a real sense of, like, I've really achieved this. And then you're more motivated. And then you sort of reward yourself. And where there's something like this, where you say, I really can't wait to get stuck into this thing, you really do enjoy your to-do list more. And as you're moving them across in your day, you really do feel like a sense, because you can visually see it, of accomplishment. Once I've done all the things that are urgent and important and I've moved those across into the done column, then I will jump into the important but not so urgent. So then I'll schedule these things. I'll say, okay, I've really got to get this thing done. When should I get this done? And I'll actually schedule it into my calendar. And I'll do that with all of these things. And this is really cool because you're not living in this urgency sense, but you are getting the things done that are really important, and you're doing it in a way that suits your schedule and suits your time. And at the same time, I'll also then make sure that the not important things, but the urgent things, have been delegated. And you'll probably start to see, as you start getting comfortable with this, that an important and urgent item might be delegate the cards that are in the not important and urgent column. And look, this is a really simple thing. Once again, it's based on or inspired by a very useful and well-known tool that's ultra simple called the Eisenhower Matrix. And this just works very, very well for me on a daily basis. So by the time I'm finished my day, I have a visual representation of what I've gotten through and what I haven't gotten through. I've used this to triage my tasks so that I'm not just living in chaos. And I find this ultra, ultra useful, and especially during this work from home phase, and even more so for those of you in lockdown and isolation, this is a great way to build a sense of accomplishment and build a sense of achievement every single day in the things that you are doing outside of human interaction. Hopefully this was valuable, and hit me up in the comments.